Welcome to 101. I'm Greg Bassey, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. And the best part of what I get to do is talk to people who I love to talk to. And I love talking to this man, Mark Thompson from the Wycomico County Board of Education. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, thank you, Greg, for having me. I think you're catching up now. Finally, this is my second
time or third time?
Second time.
But you were perennial with Phil Tillman. He had you on.
Yeah,
every
Phil
other
had
week.
me quite regularly, but I think I was just a fill-in. So, thank you for calling me.
How's the school year going?
Oh my goodness, this has been an excellent school year with Dr. Donna Hanlon. She's been terrific, and what I like about her, she's coming in with this sense of enthusiasm and passion. Remember the opening day?
You know, I was going to say this. I need to, because you're going to give her credit, but I want to give you credit for this opening day.
Mm-hmm.
I went out there to that thing, and I did not want to go out there. I had too much to do. It was 116 degrees outside that day, and you're out there in the stadium, and this thing's going on forever. But you, sir, as the MC, made it fun.
Oh, I
so
love it.
thank you. Anyone else would have screwed it up, but you had so much optimism in that, and you were such a cheerleader, and you were funny. And I just want to thank you publicly for being the MC that day. Now you can comment, Dr. Hanlon, and her speech went on too long, but it was excellent, and I think it's a credit to you how you handled that entire event.
Yeah, that was remarkable when we came up with something to really kick off the school year.
Yeah. And
we wanted something different. You know, we had things at the Civic Center before, but we stopped that years ago. But this time, even when I came up with this idea about let's do like the Olympics, it was the Olympics.
Yeah, with the theme and the songs.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
The way you all marched in, you didn't march, but everyone marched in.
I was up there, and I was up there sweating in the booth. Right. But that's what I love. And you mentioned cheerleading, and that's what I consider myself, a cheerleader for the kids in our school system, the students, especially the ones who are underachieving, who are struggling, and the families.
Right.
I always want to be that voice for them and let them know they can do it. And so that's where I try to get the energy, and that's what I see with Dr. Hanlon. She comes in, and the key is about developing relationships. So that's what we're trying to do this year in the school system. It takes some time. I always say, you know, the school system, like anything else, it's a big freight train coming down the track.
Yeah.
And when you get a new superintendent in, or you need to change direction, you know, you put on the brakes, but it's still going to squeal.
Yeah.
Sparks going to fly, and it's not going to stop and change automatically. So we are changing it. It's going to take. It takes a process, but the key is those relationship building, and we're getting there.
I mean, Dr. Ferguson was very competent, great guy, but he wasn't exactly a huggable guy. You know, but Dr. Hanlon has that feel about her.
Yeah, she really does. She comes with all the energy, and you know, Dr. Ferguson. I mean, he's the one I've always. Maybe because I was on the school board, we hired him.
Right.
But there was more to it. There was we had a true friendship and appreciation for one another.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that with him. But yeah, Dr. Hanlon, she fits the role right now of relationship building, and that's what we're trying to do now. And even when the mentoring, which I'm gonna give a plug for, mentoring. We need more mentors.
Well, let's talk more about it. How's that going? Because you had a really ambitious project going.
Oh yeah, you know what's happening, and I think what's really happening. I want to give shout out to Salisbury University, to their staff there and the students. They're really coming forth as by the droves. I've trained over 350, I think, students at Salisbury University. We also have UMES basketball team coming in, mentoring Fruitland Intermediate School,
right?
Which is an excellent program. But we need more mentors. But I think what's happening, and even though Bob Culver, our county executive, gave time for
the county employees were going to become mentors.
We've only gotten 3. I don't understand that, except I think adults our age, they're a little apprehensive coming in, because all they hear about is the students, how they're out of control, and things, how there's no connection. But that's not the case.
It's just not true.
It's not. But you have to come into school to see it. So we're still doing a big push, trying to get more mentors, especially adults.
Right.
I speak any place I'll go speak, but it's about your wisdom, and that's what I'm looking for. I tell people it's not about you trying to be cool or hip, trying to understand what's going on with the students. It's about coming in and just sharing your story, listening to theirs, and both of you developing an understanding for each other. There's a big gap between age groups. This generational gap is incredible.
Yeah.
And you hear young people talk about, well, they just don't understand. Well, no, we don't, but help us to understand. And it only happens by coming into our schools. So I hope we can increase this second half of the school year, increase our mentorship.
Yeah, I'm guilty of not mentoring a kid in a long time. I did like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good, and we still
Yeah.
keep in touch. There's a relationship. But what was interesting to me was, then I was the editor of the paper, and, I was like, Big Shot, Mr. Big Shot, or that's what he thought anyway.
Yeah.
And then I lost all that. I lost my job and had to rebuild my career and rebuild my life. And I think he learned more through that, watching me fail, as his mentor, and rebuild than he ever did when we were together when he was a kid.
Yeah, and that's important when you said that.
Keeping that relationship going,
Yeah. And also showing that you're human.
Yeah.
A lot of students, they see us in our position and think we just woke up and we were there. They don't see the struggle. They don't see how we got there.
Right.
And for them to see what you went through, that does make a difference.
Those nights in college when you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
I can go back to work on the farm.
Oh, I understand. When I lost my job at Salvation Army, I was like, what the heck's happening?
Yeah.
And that's why I work so hard now to show the community, the families that I deal with. And I've struggled too. So I always say, without a test, you don't have a testimony.
Right.
I have plenty tests.
If I want to be a mentor, where do I go? What do I do?
Well, call me over at the school board.
Okay.
At 410-677-4400. They can reach me there. Send me their email. I'll send you the application. It's a one-page application. We do a quick background check.
Right.
As long as there's no violence on there, we take it.
Right.
And then you pick the school you want to go to, or if you're open. A lot of people are just open, and we'll pair you with a child or a group. I call it a la carte mentoring. You could do whatever. You can come in for lunch and eat, or come in for breakfast and eat breakfast with a group of students. Come in for lunch. Yourself can come in just one time, and we get a group of kids together, and you just talk about the newspaper and being on one-on-one and how you took over for Phil Tillman. They'll probably say, "Who's that?" But sorry, Phil.
I'm just here until Phil wants to come back.
Yeah. So, but that's what you can do. That's part of mentoring. I need more people to come into schools to see our hardworking teachers, what's really happening. Sure, we may have little pockets, misbehavior, but when you come into school, you'll see what we're doing, how we're working, and also you understand what type of culture that we're dealing with. And unfortunately, with social media, the advent of that telephone, I was a proponent for the telephone. Oh my goodness, I think the smartphones have.
It's hurt the schools?
It's hurt all of us. I heard something very interesting the other day, that we used to consider cell phones an extension of the students, of youth, of people.
Right.
Now they are
right.
that instrument. It's like another finger, another appendage.
Like a limb. Yeah.
It's them. So trying to separate a phone from any of us, it's hard to do now. So it's taken away that one-on-one relationships that we need to have.
Right. You're pretty tough on parents in terms of them not doing what they need to do. What do you see with that?
Well, we are living, I believe, in about the second generation of parents who maybe not have been as successful as when we were brought up. A lot of things have caused that. When you say tough, I'm not blaming them. It's just that
you hold them accountable.
More, they have to be. They have to see where they are. I teach a Strengthening Families program through the health department. And what's happening now are, 20 years now, a parent who really didn't get that much parenting when they were brought up is now have children. And now with the advent, again, social media, the smartphone, computers, all this that they see, they are losing the fact that they're not friends. They're not equal. They need to know that there are parents and there's guidelines, there's boundaries. And there are no more boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. That's what's so sad now. You have a parent now that could be in their 26 years old, but they have a daughter that's 13. And what's so scary about that is a 13-year-old now doesn't look like a 13-year-old when I was growing up.
Right.
And that could be from the foods, the things that's happening. But just think about this. A 26-year-old mother and a 13-year-old daughter could almost date the same man.
Right.
And that's what's happening. The society's just, it's flipped upside down now. So when I talk to parents now, it's not to blame, but let's stop that dog from spinning around chasing his tail. But let's stop and let's start thinking about how can we work with that family? How can you work with your family dynamics to not be what the community and society says you need to be, but look inside yourself and how should you parent? How should you treat your child? How can you set the guidelines and boundaries and really have love and limits? And that's what we're missing.
Yeah, you know, I was 36 when my kid was born, and I still wasn't old enough. I still wasn't mature enough. But you know, from the beginning, you just had to make it clear: I'm your dad. I'm not your friend. You know. And
but there's nothing there to show that.
And I support you, and I'll do whatever I can. But I'm your dad. It's a whole different relationship.
It is a whole different. And parents now are forced to work. Everyone's working, regardless if they're single or a two-parent household. Everyone's out there working, and now the child's left to their own devices. And I was just looking at the TV the other day, and you know, 9 o'clock used to be prime time. There are some things that I'm embarrassed sitting there.
I'm offended. I really am. I'm not approved about that. I really am offended.
Yeah, but it's everything now.
Yeah.
Everything's violent. Everything's language. You know, the F-bomb. Oh my goodness, that's saying the F word now is just as fluent as any other bad word that we think of. It's kids say it without even thinking.
It used to stop traffic.
It stopped traffic for us. I mean, you know, I hate, now I keep saying us,
right.
But yeah, it's just, you hear it and you look and the kids just, it's everyday language and it's everywhere on the college campuses. I went to one of my son's college and I was looking for their homecoming and the way everybody was dressing, it was so out of bounds. It was so bad. Even the college had to write to the alumni to say, we're sorry, but that's what we're living in right now.
Yeah, it's a tough environment. Teachers get a lot of support, sympathy here on the discipline issue and the safety issue. I know on our website, that's the biggest story that anyone wants to look at. I guess the teachers are looking whenever the new superintendent came in and talked about teacher safety. How's that going?
Well, you know, we're safe. It's, you know, when you see, unfortunately, the only thing that's reported are those really out the bounds things that happen.
Right.
That doesn't happen every day.
The situation in Bennett, I mean, people think that happens all the time, but that's a completely once every 10 years kind of thing.
Yeah, and that was completely out of bounds, and we addressed that and handled that. Pretty much when you look at our schools are safe, and I say that saying that, you know, when you look around the country and you see people bringing knives and guns, we've been very fortunate, and I pray that we never have to handle something like that. But when you look at our schools, they are safe. It's just sometimes students, and that's why I get back to the mentors, they need to know how to handle conflict, how to handle relationships when you don't agree with another adult. Unfortunately, we don't see role models of that any place. And I didn't want to get political on this, but even from the highest to the lowest offices that we have, we don't see how to handle conflict. Name calling, and that's what our children. We have to remember that our children are nothing but mirrors of us.
Right.
And the children are mirrors of our society. And
they certainly reflect our tension.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right now we're just living in an environment that I've never seen anything like it. So how do we address that? That's what I work tirelessly, and we're trying to come up with a plan, but it's just not as quick as we would like, though.
Your work out on the east side, East Church Street, with food distribution, all that, it's great neighborhood work that you participate in. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, the Adopt a Block program, ministry that we've had, we're going to our 5th year.
That's amazing.
We deliver every other week 3,000 pounds of food goes to that Church Street neighborhood. We're up to it's almost 300 homes that we knock on every door,
Yeah.
regardless if they're there or not, plus walk-ups. You don't have to be a member of Emmanuel Wesleyan. You could, meaning that's our ministry, that's our outreach.
Right.
But our ministry is to grow and have fellowship, have people come in and help. So you don't have to be a member. We love the Korean Presbyterian churches.
Right.
One that comes with us every week when we go out into the streets, delivering food, picking up trash. We find in that neighborhood they're so transient. And now there's an influx of a lot of Haitian population now, Hispanic population. So it changes, and language barriers, but food is food. And when you show friendship and love, they seem to talk to us. We had a sad incident that happened right after Christmas when we delivered. A young man was killed, murdered down there, and his mother.
Yeah.
And his mother moved across the bridge now, but I stay in contact with them. But it was just so sad. We took a picture, and then like the next couple weeks, he was gone. And
Wow.
so you never know the influence, and that's why we pray for everybody that we come in contact with, because you just never know if you're going to see them again.
Well, the photos in the paper, whenever we were able to cover it, smiles everywhere. I mean,
it really is.
And you're right, more of a Latino population. You see that more and more there.
So, we did a lot of food during Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
520 turkeys went out. We
Yeah.
had the Pack to Give Back and with the food bank and
Food Bank in Purdue were
yeah,
great. Great helpers.
Oh my gosh, it was marvelous. So, and then we did like Christmas presents. So now we're back at it. We start February 11th. We go back out, and it's every other week. So if listeners are listening, we start at 8:30 a.m. at Emmanuel Wesleyan Church at the Yellow Building. We call it the Miracle Building.
Right.
And you just show up, and then we'll go out. So we start February 11th, and then it's every other Saturday. So you can just mark your calendar.
And you feel so good when you go out there and you see
Oh, it
those
really
people.
does.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference.
Yeah. It's not like you're completely supporting them. You're just helping people.
You just help everybody.
It gives people some hope.
And that's what it's about. Just let people know that someone other than, government agency.
Right.
We care. We deliver beds, furniture. What I love is our volunteers. When we need something, I send out an email and we get coats that people need, and it's just.
And there's a fellowship.
It's good we all just work together.
I saw Martin Hutchison had a group there the other
Yeah.
week. Yeah, and just that feeling, you could just tell.
The community gardens
Yeah.
is part of that. So, and that's why I think we're so special down here in Salisbury, Wycomico County, that we're small enough to know each other, but big enough that there's a lot of people to help out.
How am I supposed to be feeling about racial issues in the country right now?
Oh, my God, you would bring that up.
Well, I'm kind of confused about some stuff. And
race has reared its ugly head, I think, for years. For years, it's been under the covers, pretty much. Then it got into mainly, I think, the gender equality took over from race. So,
which we all support.
Which we all support. And I teach a sociology class, and I said, if you take out the word black or white or race and place, when we talk about gender equality in there, we say those people, you see that we've turned from race, went to gender equality. Now that's pretty much quieted down.
Right.
And now race, and it's not just black and white, it's, like Muslims and anyone that doesn't look like us. It goes back to, as a society, we're losing our identity of people and who we are, and we're all the same. But we're losing that, and there's no driving force to step out to say, here's what it's like. Here's what we need to start doing. We don't have the Mahatma Gandhis and the Martin Luther Kings anymore that actually step out to say we're all created equal. Everything is so divisive, and it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Republican, Democrat, whatever you are. Everything is divisive, and we just need somebody. We need a true leader to step up to tell everybody just to stop this madness, and we just don't see it. It's unfortunate right now, from local to national, world. We need someone to say, let's stop looking at this and stop criticizing and killing each other over something that, if we're all on the plane together going down, I don't care who you are, we're going to hold hands and start praying.
Right, exactly.
Right. But, it's funny. I think now if we're on that plane, we would be punching you, saying, "I don't care, you to die first." But it's silly. It's madness. So again, I get back to my faith is strong. I always say, stop talking about the race and who's in office. And I still believe that my God is still on the throne, and the king is still the king on the throne, and God's still in control of my life. So you're not going to hear me talking about anyone else. I'm going to believe and trust that my faith and my God's going to get us through this. He'll either change things or people will change. So that's what I believe in strongly.
Yeah, we grew up kind of the same age, and we went into the school system when segregation was just in the rearview mirror. It just, everything had been sorted out, and there have been people who had marched through that craziness at that time. But what I remember is my parents and my grandparents still having like innocent, ignorant racial ideas about what school should be and how people should interact, and how can you go to school with those people? That kind of stuff. And I would go, everyone's just the same. I mean, I felt so much about that.
Well, it's where you're from and your frame of reference. It's funny you say it, because this year, well, in 2016, we had the 50th anniversary of desegregation in Wycomico County. And we did a lot of interviews through the Chipman Center, Cultural Center.
Excellent. Yeah, anyone should see that, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about how was the difference. Young people today, they don't see that. They have other issues they're dealing with.
My kids have no racial inclination at all.
They don't. And it's like a child has none, no.
Yeah.
But the adults can't let go. And they're still holding on to it.
That's how it feels.
Yeah, they're still holding on to it. But again, prayerfully, it has to change because we're really spinning out of control. And I'm waiting for someone to just put their hand on the top saying, this is it. Let's all just get back together again.
Right. I feel like President Obama, who I didn't initially support because I grew up kind of conservative, but I got excited when he was elected, but I felt like he sort of like left me there on the west front of the Capitol in 2008, and then we never did anything after that. And it's nothing against him. I felt lost out there. But I thought he would be that figure.
What I looked at with him, more importantly, was a family man, a true husband.
Unbelievable.
A man of great integrity and morals. Here was a person, no scandal.
No scandals.
And they couldn't find anything. Maybe he drank a beer or had a smoke every now and then. Yeah. But I was hoping that our young people would look at that, how he dressed.
Yeah.
He kept his hair. I mean, I thought that would really propel our young people that I work with mostly to want to follow that. But they would rather follow the rap. I said, as lewd, crude as you can be, that's what's our young ladies are going after. And that's what our young men are trying to just not be themselves. So unfortunately, I wish that would have changed, but it didn't. But I keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive. This community seems to be rebounding. It feels pretty good here right now. How are you feeling about our community?
Oh, I love what's going on now. People are really trying.
They are.
I like our new mayor. I like his energy. I just like, we're the giving community when it comes to with United Way and asking for things.
I think our nonprofit per capita is like one of the highest. I want to do a story about this.
It really is.
How much we give compared to how much we have is amazing.
And we don't have. I admire and loved Dick Hazel so much. He did so much. Helped me with the Salvation Army.
Well, you were able to influence him. That was the key. He didn't listen to everybody.
Yeah, I understand that. But he saw the passion.
He listened to you.
He really did.
Yeah.
But we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And but it's little pockets now all have to come together. In fact, what we're working on now, I'm trying to get everyone to come together to do one massive backpack drive. During the summer, it's driving me crazy. We have 20, 30, every little agencies doing their own little thing with backpacks.
Yeah, Rotary does a big backpack thing.
Yeah. So I said, but I go to a lot of these different ones.
It's like 100 backpacks.
And I see the same people.
Right.
And I said, okay, you have triple, dipple. I mean, they're just dip. They get so many backpacks.
Right.
Kids don't they just throw them away.
Yeah.
Why don't we all come together? So what I'm gonna throw this back out there. And I've talked with, we have a meeting on this one. It hasn't been finalized. But my vision is to have every group, every church that wants to do something, We go to the Civic Center. We have family day, community day at the Civic Center. Every group that has backpacks, instead of everybody has backpacks, why don't we assign, oh great, why don't you bring tissues, and why don't you bring this and you bring that, and then the kids can come through and pick up everything they really need, not what we want to give them.
Right.
And everyone works together. The smallest church or group that just has a little bit, they can feel like they're part of it because they're contributing. And just have one massive, big, good backpack day, school supplies.
What a great idea.
Yeah, and bring everybody together. And then you could talk about your programs, and families can see what's available. But all this going to this park and this church and this group, I don't think that's working, and it's not suiting our children well. So we're going to work with that and unite this project together.
You've had some health issues. Tell me about early prevention and early warning stuff.
Yeah, I've been pretty public about the prostate cancer. I'm going on, and I'm trying not to get too much. I won't get emotional on this one because when I got diagnosed 2.5 years ago, the doctor said, I said, well, I don't want to go through all that. Just do nothing. He said, well, you'll be gone in 3 years. And this would be my 3rd year. So looking back over it, my doctor, Dr. Sarah Kane, when she did the PSA test and found my levels high, and she stayed with it, and then sent me to Dr. Shimko, and they stayed with it, and the biopsies, and I had to go through surgery and went up to Johns Hopkins, mainly not because we're not suitable here. It's just that I need some privacy.
Right.
It's when you go in there, people just talk, hey, what are you doing in here? So I went there so I can get some privacy. Had that removed, and then still found out that some of the seeds went out.
Right.
I said, okay, what's next? Because I got to live.
Right.
And they put me on hormone treatment.
We need you to live.
Yeah, that's what I said. There's a lot
Don't
of work.
be so selfish. We need you to live here.
Well, I appreciate that. I feel good, but I try to work out, but my metabolism stopped, so I gained a lot of weight. So 2 years was over, and now they said, okay, now we're going to final step, radiation. So now I'm staying here. I go over to the Henson, which those people are just.
Isn't it amazing?
I mean,
Where do they come from?
I don't know where they come from. I mean, from the young lady who moves the cone for me in the morning,
Right.
so I can park.
Right.
I'm just she taught everybody.
They're
just
all
makes
so
you feel,
upbeat.
oh, it's amazing. And then when I walk in, good morning. It's amazing.
They care.
They really do. And I wish every doctor was like that.
Right.
So I'm going through radiation. I'm on like day 15 or something like that. But I got 45 treatments on that one. But you know, when I walk in, I feel I'm so blessed because when I go in and I see people are really sick, and I see how families are holding on to each other, and I don't feel as though, wow, God's really blessed me. I'm not to that point, but some days I go like, why did this happen to me? And all I hear is, why not? Because I need to make you out front to let people know when you're going through something, you can make it. And that's what I try to do, tell people. I struggle every day. This medicine makes you feel funny, but you know something? I keep that positive spirit because I just say that you can get through anything. And that's what I hope that people understand from me. We can get through anything together as long as we just hold on.
He inspires me. He inspires our community. He inspires our kids. He inspires our Board of Education and all the people over there. Mark Thompson, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper. Another great edition of 101 right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.